So, the last chapter of the ties that bind, or the suffering that ties that bind. Here we have Rance Truman. Uh, the, this was actually the man that wrote all of the entries into uh, the loading screens. So he's actually been a piece of the story since the beginning. He writes random stuff, just basically super eccentric. He starts telling you the stories, though, of how Baltimore came to be what it is. He gives you a lot of backstory here, so I started listening to him. By the end of the story, though, you do have a decision to come back and save Rance. I actually didn't realize what exactly Blackmore was talking about, so I kind of messed up and didn't come back and save Rance. But at the same time, it doesn't really change too much. Rance just kind of, thanks you for what you did. It's a good morality, but at that point we were already basically angel status, so not really that big of a deal that we didn't come back and save Rance. We still get the good ending, still get good boy Torque, all of that. Rance here, though, he just starts telling you all of the stuff that has been going on. But yeah, he'll tell us about Senior. So basically, this guy is just an exposition dump. He's got interesting stories, so I kind of sit and listen to him. But he tells you about some of the stuff that you've seen, like whenever we were with Riley at the end there, the fire in the machine shop. So we actually saw that whenever we were down there fighting the arsonists. So he does explain a little bit of what was actually going on. Even in Monument City, you don't see a memorial to the ones that died in construction cave. But yeah, he also tells you the whole story behind the burrowers. The Irishmen ended up dying whenever they built the tunnel systems, and just really, really messed up. And then Copperfield. So he just kind of dumps all of this stuff on you. And yeah, he'll give you the exposition dumps of everything that you've seen. The Reverend with Hajira, the machine shop fire with Riley, all of this stuff just all over the place. He also gives you the backstory of the Creeper, Luther Stickwell. So yeah, he gives you a lot of good story exposition. But this guy was actually on Carnate too, so he was actually there whenever we had all the shit hitting the fan. So it is kind of interesting. He's actually another survivor of Carnate, along with like Consuela. So Rance here is from Carnate. He's from the first game, the prison that we were in. So it's pretty interesting to see. I mean, Rance was there since the beginning. He was writing all of the loading screens, all of this stuff. I feel like if the Suffering had continued as a game series, that they definitely would have had more Rance. He definitely just seems like a kind of weirdly involved player in all of this. I mean, Blackmore even goes so far as to try and take him out, like, at the end of the game. It's just really interesting. Rance just seems to have some kind of importance that isn't fully explained. Like, important enough to where Blackmore just essentially finds it he needs to be taken out, but at the same time, all of the malefactors that are pouring out of the hole that we came out of, Rance says they just ignore him. It's really weird. Like, he's just not there. So it is kind of strange that in all of the things that are happening, they just don't really care about Rance. So, interesting character. You never really get more detail on him because this was the last game in the series. Unfortunately, he's just kind of a weirdly involved, eccentric character that you never really see more of. But I imagine if there were more games, rants would have probably played a bigger part, or at least been like the weird expositional, like, backstory kind of guy.
You always had trouble getting your game.
But again, we have Blackmore warping into Torque. It's going to be explained very shortly by the end of this video, so essentially we'll get all of the exposition dumped on us as well, because, well, we already got a lot of it dumped on us by rants, but Blackmore himself will appear at the end, and we'll get the whole shebang. And then for those who haven't put it together, it'll just come to light.
You coming home? Yeah, your first home. It's not much farther. Trust me, it'll be worth it.
And again, Blackmore is going to be talking about the orphanage that Torque grew up in. He kind of had a troubled start in life. So, if you couldn't tell how Torque is kind of not all put together, yeah, that's why. He had a really troubled childhood, so it kind of messed him up. So he definitely has some troubles, has some issues with just being, you know, normal after the way that he grew up, so. But yeah, Blackmore, he kind of just keeps taunting us the whole way. We're just gonna work our way to the orphanage. So, we just gotta get there. It's not anything too bad. But Blackmore will just be kind of peeking over our shoulder the whole way, taunting us as we get there. We do have our mini or mounted gun here, so we're gonna take advantage of that while the marksmen are popping up. Nothing too insane, just see where they're popping up, blast them for about a second, and then move on to the next that pops up. Super easy. Just don't let the gun overheat. That's about the only thing you need to worry about. And again, since there's going to be a triggerman, we have this giant-ass gun. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we have this giant-ass gun and take them out as they come near us. Just kind of seemed obvious, you know, the moment. We have a big unlimited ammo gun, so I'm definitely going to use that. And then, of course, as soon as I pick up the zombium, the arsonists decide, hey, let's firebomb this asshole. So I end up using insanity mode, the cataclysm attack, clearing them all out. Again, cataclysm, busted as hell. Really good, definitely recommend. And don't ask me why I'm trying to burn arsonists, because I don't know. But yeah, we have another captain, so we need to go into our insanity mode. Again, you can't really do anything else to captains unless you use insanity mode, so kind of need to use it to deal with them. So we take out those captains. It's about it for that section. Music kind of stops doing its thing, so can assume that we can go to the next section since the arsonist melted the bars.
Like the reflections in a shattered mirror,
And Killjoy once again comes out, tells us that we're basically insane. We didn't really need his analysis to know that. So we need to go to the orphanage again. We're just working our way there. It's not really that long of a trek to the orphanage.
Right up here is where you and me got started.
And Blackmore is currently up the roof.
Always keep your head up.
He's kind of just taunting us at the fact.
Keep your mind in the game.
Over the orphanage, though.
Let the other guy make the first move. A player's got to have his eyes on the competition at all
And yeah,
times.
he's just kind of taunting us. We need to actually see where he's at before he says anything, but yeah, he's just sitting up on top of the orphanage. And he starts summoning stuff as soon as he sees us. This is actually a captain, so I'm just wasting bullets But yeah, eventually I realized, hey, it's a captain. You know, once your bullets bounce off them about 15 times, even I can get the idea that it's a captain. So, end up taking him out. Do end up picking up a Tommy gun. Another captain, of course, so super dangerous until he summons his minions. So I kind of hide behind this dumpster so he can't just blast me. And then try and take out the minion as soon as possible, so that way we get our insanity mode. Because we can't do anything against the captain until we have insanity mode, so definitely just want to get that as soon as possible. And just in case anything else popped up, I did stay in insanity mode, but nothing else did while I was in it. So that was kind of unfortunate waste of it. Did end up taking my sawn-offs back and got more ammo from over on that guy. But yeah, we're gonna want to go into the, or go up to the orphanage door, which is where Blackmore was standing on top of. So yeah, the door starts being spooky. Out it. We're actually hearing little snippets from Torque's past at this point. People are saying that he's, like, mean, yeah, a bully, just a bunch of stuff that, you know, makes it sound like Torque was a troubled child, which, yeah, I mean, he kind of was, so it does make sense that they're calling him mean and a bully. So we have Slayers coming down, 2 Slayer captains. Not really that hard to get our insanity mode off of them. Slayers go down relatively quickly, especially whenever we have 2 double barrels. They'll just end up switching over to insanity and then absolutely destroying them with Cataclysm. Again, that move is just really, really good. Absolutely shreds anything that comes your way. So we need a little bit more insanity. He ends up summoning some more Slayers. They go down. He summons one more, who unfortunately basically spawns into a blender, so that's another captain down. And we switch back before we waste too much insanity. So yeah, the door's still doing its spooky shit, but we will have more people showing up. Now we have a captain arsonist. Probably like a differing version of Captain Cold, I guess, just the hot version. Kind of weird. But yeah, we just need to deal with the minions. We can't do anything about the captain himself, so need to take out the minions until we get full insanity. Switch on insanity mode, immediately take out the captain, then switch back. We can, as long as we can preserve enough insanity for the next, like, wave, we don't have to let it summon multiple things. But Carmen eventually lets us in the Garvey Children's Home, and we're essentially just going to fight Blackmore now. So we're going to be in the final section here. He does let us know that Rance is going to be in trouble, that he sent monsters to him. But at the same time,
Hey there, my little one.
I guess I was just, like, completely zoned out and didn't think about it. I was like, who the hell is Rance? Even though Rance literally tells us his name and, like, dumps 30 minutes of exposition on us. Just really weird.
Then people respect
But if you couldn't tell, Torque is a little tyke here, and Blackmore is Blackmore? Like, he hasn't changed. And the lady that is running, or one of the staff of the children's home, comes in and asks us, who the hell are you talking to? Like, he's not there. So you can slowly put it more and more together that, yeah, Blackmore probably isn't real. I mean, he is real, but not to anyone else. So we'll get to all of that in just a second.
You tried your best to grow up here, learn the game. But there's only so much a little one can do without family. Now our friend Rance, he thought he could sit this one.
But if you couldn't tell, Blackmore hasn't changed a bit since we met him back whenever we were little.
He's in it now. All his chips on the table. I don't think even you could bail him out. And you'd have to hurry.
But yeah, Blackmore tells us that Rance is in trouble, and I don't know why. I was just like, herder, who the hell is Rance? Whatever. And chased him up the thing anyways. But if you go and save Rance, it's just one of those classic, like, oh, hey, you did a good thing. So, Carmen lets us know you're a good man. That sort of stuff. And apparently we get a phone call for Blackmore to laugh. So, kind of weird. But yeah, we're going to go upstairs, and this will be the final fight, which is honestly really easy compared to the drowning pool, honestly. But you can see there's a bunch of really odd, disturbing images, the creeper, a bunch of other stuff. So, kind of interesting this is in a children's home.
These are the ties that bind us.
And he said it, name drop.
You can't cut them. You can't burn them. You can't be rid of them. You just
and
have to live.
God, is Michael Clark Duncan just
Die with them.
murdering these lines. He is killing it.
And Malcolm, do you remember how that played out? Exactly how that played out?
Explain this to me. What did you do? Just like you said. We put her down. We put them all down.
So, oddly enough, Blackmore
I don't think I could have
didn't really
the wrong kind we associated with.
Blackmore didn't really want to kill Carmen and the kids. It was really weird.
Someone just because they get off on it.
Like he didn't mean to or something. It was really odd. But yeah, it starts showing you past events. If you remember Blackmore in the prison yard, he knocked us down. So these guys kind of looked at us like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Because Blackmore wasn't there. Blackmore is just always in your head. So whenever you get the police called on you by Blackmore, you actually called the police on yourself to set yourself up to murder your own wife and kids who you try to not murder. It's just really bizarre. Like, how does Torque set this all up? Like, all of these people have to know that he's the one calling the shots whenever he's the one they're trying to kill. It's really weird. Like, Blackmore wants to be in control, but at the same time, he's setting all this up where he's going to be, you know, enemy number one.
Get your body. Get to be me in the real world.
It's just really odd. I do like the story, but at the same time, it's like really, really odd. So yeah, Blackmore, he's basically our split personality. There's either Torque or Blackmore or the Insanity Monster. So we kind of have three. Blackmore made mention of the Insanity Monster at the same time earlier. So yeah, we're facing off against Blackmore. If you couldn't tell, we can't really do anything against him with conventional weaponry because, well, he's not really real. So we kind of have to use a little bit of something else. So the Horde here actually ends up helping us, and this captain ends up helping us.
He can only hurt you if you let him. He's just in your head.
So we definitely don't want Blackmore to hit us with his attacks, but at the same time, we're trying to get rid of these Slayers so we can get Insanity mode. So the captain here is definitely just helping us more than Blackmore, honestly. So, really good thing. We just need to keep taking out the captain's summoned minions, which is really easy whenever you have double barrels and revolvers. So, as soon as we can, we just take out the little guys. And then Blackmore here, we're going to be absolutely whooping his ass. So Cataclysm ends up absolutely destroying everything. Blackmore took a pretty big hit there too, so that was good. Also took out the horde back there.
I can't believe
So now we just need to go up the stairs and confront Blackmore. So good morality decision you'll be seeing shortly. And you could see a brief glimpse of our bad morality insanity form there.
to break the rules. And the way I play, it's all or nothing.
So yeah, Blackmore, gone. We took over full control of our life now. Our split personality doesn't exist anymore. So Killjoy would be happy,
Times like this, it's
and Carmen certainly is too.
hard to know what to say.
The bad morality decision, Blackmore ends up taking over, and Jordan ends up being
Even with what
his
happened to
fling.
me,
So that's kind of interesting.
the odds are too strong.
But neutral
No one else can compete.
neutral ending leaves it where it's just a tie between Blackmore and Torque, so neither of them could take over the other. So they're kind of just stuck together. But yeah, that's the end of the Ties That Bind. Super fun little game. Don't know how many people actually know about it. It didn't really go too well after the second one, if you couldn't tell, because there was no third. But really fun games. Just really quirky, little interesting. Not really horror. I mean, it is supposed to be horror, but not really super scary. Like, it's not gonna Silent Hill or Resident Evil like survival horror you up. It's action horror, so. But it is a really interesting little game series. I'd recommend trying it out if you can. It goes on sale quite frequently on Good Old Games, or if you could pick up a copy on PlayStation 2, Xbox, that sort of thing. Also recommend those. They do pretty decently. They're interesting, have pretty interesting characters, decent story. I mean, there are some plot holes, some other things like that. But if you don't think too hard on it, it's not going to upset you too much. But yeah, really good games. I'm just kind of going to let the credits roll. That's just something that I like to do whenever I play games, just because the people that made these games deserve to have their names shown. I mean, they make something that you like and you want to help get their names out or help show who helped make it. So I'll let the credits roll. There is no after credits, so if you don't want to see all of the people or see all of the credits, then you don't have to. There's, like I said, no after credits, so I will just let them roll. If you want to keep watching them to see who did what, then you can. But other than that, let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching, and have a good one.